welcome back to AI Searched. We're so excited to talk to Bruno Balen here today, all the way in San Francisco. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. Here is morning now, and mornings here in California are just beautiful, always sunny and inspired, and we can feel the optimism now in the air, and
Nice.
something's changing, and we see it also on stock exchange and everything else. But all the people we speak to, it seems that in a positive way, new hype is coming, that markets are recovering, and that is something that all of us were waiting for the last 2 years.
Very true. Very looking forward to that on all stocks and Bitcoins and everything that has been happening. It's definitely a plus. So it's going to be exciting news ahead. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing and the research you've been doing in the healthcare field. I'm really excited about that.
So we are a longevity company, and longevity will be largest industry in history of humankind. It's projected that if you only add 1 year on health span, so not lifespan of global population, that it would add $37 trillion to global economy. That's 40%. And it's if we look at synergistic effect of maybe 10 years, we talk about quadrupling or even more global economy. We are talking about age of abundance. And also AI will help with that because it will just allow the price of knowledge and intelligence to go virtually to zero. And in that new world, what will be the biggest currency will be our vitality. Because our vitality is not only how healthy we are, it's also how sharp, how our cognitive performance, our mental health, our emotional resilience, our inner strength, our, in the end, charm, inspiration, creativity is shaping our success. And when I say success, I don't think only material success, but all the successes in all the important areas of life. So as such, longevity industry doesn't exist today. Although we hear a lot about longevity industry, it doesn't exist. We have fractions. We have pharma industry, but pharma industry is craving for disruption because we cannot talk anymore about one target, one pathway, one disease, one molecule, patent it, and then stamp it. It's targeting framework of diseases, and longevity industry is about making a new framework for health. And this new framework for health is something that will bring this industry on new levels. So we are in this industry and we are building disruption for pharma. When I say disruption, I don't mean distraction. We don't want to destroy pharma. As every industry in the history of humanity, when you disrupt it, you bring it on much higher level. What happened, for example, with iPhone disrupted phone market, and it just opens so many opportunities. It opens us booking, Airbnb, Uber, Instagram, TikTok, whatever we can,
Everything.
everything,
Yeah.
everything. It opened a new universe that in the end made the pie much bigger. And that is how we are approaching pharma industry. Because if we move from traditional disease approach,
Yeah.
then we are going into how to mitigate aging that is accumulation of damage, cellular and molecular damage within our bodies. So if you observe it like that, aging is not something that is happening to old people. Old age is happening because we are aging. It's a big difference. And if that is happening, we are all patients, but not in a bad way, because now patience is something that we don't want to be, because it's a synonym for being sick. But
Yeah.
if we think about damage that is happening, it's happening to both of us now while we are on this call, and we cannot
Yeah.
see it, but it's happening at this point. And if we can stop that, then it's not bad to be a patient. And if we talk about that, then the whole world is now becoming a client of this new
Mhm.
industry. And it's not bad because 20 years ago, we didn't expect that we'll be paying 2000 for a phone, but we are paying it now and we actually achieve much more with
Yeah.
that. And it will be the same with our vitality. We'll be paying for our vitality our whole lives, but we'll be achieving much more. So in net value, it will be something amazing. And that is what we are building at
Cool.
Ani. And we developed, we have our first principles, and they are based on mitigating cellular damage in space exploration.
Hmm.
And why are we doing it like that? Because first, space exploration is something where you cannot avoid immediate damage. That means that if we talk about Earth, people can say, okay, nothing is happening to me now. That's happening to old people. Actually, it's not correct. Alzheimer is starting 40 years before first signs and manifestation happens. So, and it's same with all the other diseases. That means that this cellular space approach is bringing it much closer. That means if we have damage today, what do we need to do? And first principles. First, we need non-invasive diagnostics. That means we cannot do blood work or stool sampling in space, in zero gravity. We need to have something that is digital, approximational, scalable, and that works long term.
Hmm.
Then we need to approximate how different compounds are working in situ, that means within our body, on multiple pathways. A systemic approach. We cannot look anymore, okay, lentils is good for you. It doesn't mean anything because you don't have lentils there. And also blue zone approach, lifestyle approach. Okay, let's just live in Sardinia and have a glass of red wine. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So by removing all these things, where is that bringing us? We need a solution that is digital biomarker, daily longitudinal scanning us. We developed such a biomarker, and we are pioneering of capturing affecto-neuroimmunology.
Hmm.
Basically, that's acronym for ANI.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
uh, and affecto neuroimmunology is, let's say, capturing gut-brain axis, but it's much more because it's about capturing dynamic system. So we're not taking snapshot in time, like I don't know, some tissue scan. It's this is alive. It's in a way quantifying our psyche, our spirit, but not in mystical way. It's quantifying it in empirical, biological way. So affectome, as our emotions are affecting our aging process, and vice versa as they are affecting neurological process and being interconnected with immune response bidirectionally. That is something that we are mapping through our machine learning models. And we developed such a biomarker. However, biomarker itself is not enough. It can predict and detect biological deviation, but
Hmm.
just predict and detect it doesn't mean anything. You need to cut it before it manifested into something more serious. So we are talking about real-time tracking. At this point, it's once a day. It's much better than just going to a doctor once a year or taking blood work every
Yeah.
6 months.
Or
But
some
we
people who never go at all.
Yeah, people usually start going regularly when they are sick, and that's something that
Too late.
doesn't work. But I understand why, because preventive healthcare is it's never a right moment. You
Yeah.
feel good, you have your life is happening, and then you need to go and do some markers, and you don't understand what they mean, so you don't see the value. You go sometimes if you are a health fanatic, but usually you don't go, and then something happens. So what we need is something seamless, iPhone-like seamless, something that you don't need to think about it, that is scanning you while you're not thinking. At this point, our diagnostics is taking 1 minute a day.
Mhm.
For me, that's huge bottleneck. I want it on zero. I want it on 0 seconds. I want
Yeah.
being seen and having intervention while I don't know it's happening. But we are reducing this going this window of time, just squeezing it. Already 1 minute a day, it's much better than going to doctor
Yeah, of
and
course. It's
it
less time
doesn't.
I spend learning French on Duolingo. So you're already
Yeah,
doing great.
exactly. Yeah,
If I
yeah,
can
and
do that every day, I can definitely scan my health every day.
yeah, I agree, and we are also trying to gamify it because it must be fun. Health and vitality, they must be fun. They must be a new currency. It must be, people say that spending money is fun, but making it is better, and that's true because you're creating something, you're making something that wasn't there before, and that feeling is something that we need also to bring into health. And and that said, then we have a set of machine learning models that are approximating which complex matrix of small molecules would affect all of our metabolic pathways in most positive way. That means we see biological deviations, we predict how that deviation might manifest, and we
Mhm.
cut it at the beginning. And as we can do it fast as possible, then we are mitigating aging damage fast as possible. That is not stopping aging fully because at the moment you see certain deviation, it already information is there, but it can really cut it. It can cut its manifestation, it ripple effect. If you throw a stone in water, then you have a ripple effect. But
Yeah.
if you stop here, then it's not just spreading around.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that is what we are trying to do. In future, we will also have some reprogramming methods that other researchers and companies are working on that basically can actually reprogram what the damage that was made. But our focus now is on something that is tangible because reprogramming is not FDA approved. It's not proven in humans. It needs 10 more years. It's really really cool. It's something like rebooting your computer. There are beautiful groups working on that, and I think that is future, and they will be working synergistically. And in this new longevity world, we will have, as we have in big tech, we have Amazon, Meta, and
Yeah.
Microsoft and Nvidia. We have all of them specialized in a certain subset of the industry, and it will be same within longevity industry. And we plan to make a mark there. We plan to be one of the biggest longevity companies in the world because
Mhm.
for sure it will be an underdog. It won't be a big player. Recently, we met Vinod Khosla from Khosla Ventures, and he said, "In my career, I never ever seen any disruption and innovation coming from big industry players. It's always a startup. It's
Great.
always somebody who is solving a problem because in nature of disruption is that big system cannot disrupt itself because it would go against its basic principles of existence. So
Hmm.
that's beautiful because it's opening opportunity
Yeah.
for small companies and for innovation. And it's scary because you know that you're never safe. You know that you're when you succeed, that's in a way uh, start of your descendants. So
Yeah.
like circle
Yeah,
of life.
someone else will disrupt you at one point once you succeed. Yeah, it's a never-ending circle. But that's what's so cool about AI in general, and it is a huge hype right now. There's a lot of things going on, but there's so much innovation that is extremely disrupting to old patterns in the last 10 years even. So I think, just keep pushing through. Even if
I would say
something else disrupts you, if you have a creative, open mindset, you can always be at the front of your game.
exactly. That's what I want to say. I think that this new era is bringing the ability to disrupt yourself all the time because you
Hmm.
cannot disrupt yourself if you're a system of 10 or 50,000 people working with different processes and having all the established short-term contracts. Then people look short-term. But if you have a team of 5 people or 10 or 2 people, that we will have, all the unicorns will be 2 or 5 people in the next years because of multi-agent systems and everything, how we can outsource full C-level, but basically also multiply ourselves as founders. And that will allow us that all of us can be founders, and that will allow us to disrupt ourselves all the time. And
Hmm.
disruption of ourselves is something that is, I would say, synonym for longevity because it's not nice. It's painful, and painful processes are frustrating. Frustration equals
Stress,
neuroplasticity.
the aging.
And neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
It's, every time you're frustrated, you don't find a solution. Every time it hurts, you're firing neurons that are not familiar to you. So it's out of comfort zone. So if you can do that, basically it's mitigating aging through your work. So I see world of longevity that is not just industry like one industry somewhere there. It's something
Hmm.
that will change our basic existence. And if we talk about AI, already O1 has IQ of 130. So, and it's growing exponentially. That means that in a year or two, we will have IQ of 10,000 or
Yeah.
50,000 IQ.
Yeah,
That,
something
that
that we've never seen before, of course. Yeah. There's no
it's huge.
limit. Yeah.
Super intelligence is here and it will have real-time connection to internet.
Hmm.
So really, knowledge and intelligent price will go to zero. That is matter of month, not year anymore. Matter of month. For wide adoption, maybe year or two. But
Yeah.
in terms of capabilities, we're talking about 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
zero. And that means it's new world. That means that AI will become extension of us. I will explain how what happened to me recently, but also will become extension of AI because if you have super intelligence doesn't want to serve all the time. They want to merge with us, and we will merge, but in positive manner. We will complement each other. And I
Hmm.
don't talk about cyborgs. I just talk about we are already merged.
Yeah.
Just knowing what is the weather now in Norway, it's increasing my capabilities. I couldn't possibly know that just based on my human biological existence. And we are taking it for granted. And we like it, but we don't like the idea of merging. We are
Mhm.
already merged.
Yeah. I
Recently,
mean, even way back, like the existence of radio and, just traveling letters, the fact much, much slower processes of just getting, globalized has allowed us to just have way more knowledge than we'd ever had before, and obviously more stress. So now that we're all connected to the internet, we're all connected to our mobile phones, we get notifications about the weather. We know everything, world news that's happening everywhere that we wouldn't have even heard of 300
Mhm.
years ago without, somebody coming with a boat and a letter. It's just the incredible amount of knowledge that we have is in the last, 300 years is insane, and it's changing every day. So I think this last 50 years we've grown so much since we've been
Last year.
on
Look at
computers.
just last year.
Yeah.
Just 1 year, how far. And also writing. Writing is something that it's technology. It's not something that is inherently to first people. They didn't have writing. That means writing something is giving you information that you don't inherently have, and
Yeah.
it's giving advantage that is unfair towards everyone who don't have that. And
Hmm.
that just writing, just a symbol, it's already technology you are merging with some collective knowledge and
Hmm.
collective intelligence that way, collective consciousness, if you
Yeah,
wish,
yeah, yeah.
that existed there before you, and you're building on top of something that you didn't build. That
Yeah.
means that one symbol in cave, it's already removing us from our humanity. That means that if we just scale that, it's merging with superintelligence.
Yeah.
And if we don't like idea of that, okay, let's stop writing. Let's stop using phones.
Yeah, let's go
Technology,
back. Go
like,
back.
and nobody likes that. Nobody likes to sleep in the cave. Nobody likes to
Yeah.
to hunt rabbits and then being hungry because you cannot it's just fast. The rabbit is too fast. You cannot catch it, so you're just all the time. And then the wolves want to eat you. It's not a nice life. And but the life will just become way better. And just one example. Recently, my co-founder Nika had a surgery. She took a free wisdom tooth out at once, and we spoke, and she said, "Oh, I think I have inflammation." And while we were speaking, I asked ChatGPT. I said, "Inflammation wisdom tooth, how to recognize something like that?" And she said, "Are you still here?" And I said, "Yes, yes, I'm just thinking." And then I realized that I used it not as a distraction. I wasn't scrolling. I wanted to see so that I can build on top of this call. And I said, I'm thinking. I wasn't thinking. I was reading the answer. I said, wow. It
Yeah.
becomes
It's
extension of my knowledge, of my intelligence, of my thinking processes. It's just completely crazy. It's something that is being so much engraved into our existence already that next generation, I read somewhere that we are last generation that will know how to read and write. And this will be controversial. When some people see this statement, this will be, oh no, reading is what is making us, and writing is what is allowing us to ground our thoughts. But it's slow. We can go much faster. Reading and writing is the linear way, and I love it. I was born in that world. But if you think about speed and friction
yeah,
of
it's
voice,
not part of it.
and no, but then if we go next step, I was recently at one beautiful conference, doc gathering here in Napa Valley
Mhm.
for 3 days, only cutting edge science for 3 days. It was completely nuts. And there was a scientist showing that they have like Neuralink, a device
Okay.
that can recognize more than 50 words just based on thought processes. And
Wow.
the video they showed there is a lady that had a stroke and she cannot talk. And then the machine recognized her thoughts, and she was actually embarrassed, and we could see it there because her husband was there, and she, oh, you can see my thoughts. And if we can do it for 50 words today already,
Okay.
scaling to 50,000 words is like this.
Yeah.
That means that will be able to think, to give multi-agent system what we want. They
Yeah.
will do everything.
Ah,
We'll be thinking about
it's okay.
uh, yeah, okay, we have time. We'll be thinking about what we would like to achieve, who would like to contact, and they would already be happening. We're talking about magic, like
Yeah.
solution. Thinking about something that happens. It's manifestation. It's something that we were looking in science fiction movies, like
Yeah.
Harry Potter manifesting something. It's something that will happen to all of us. The global economy, the personal development, relationships, the age of abundance,
Mhm.
this new humanity is something that will be unimaginable. What I believe is that we already have that. I think that if we would move, I don't know, 100 years ago and meet Albert Einstein, that maybe he wouldn't be so smart.
Yeah.
This is my just hypothesis. Maybe it's not true, but because the world is growing all the time and we take it always for granted. That means in 2 generations, 50 years from now, people will be merging, it will be connected. Now we have Uber is driving us, booking, but before you need to stop and ask where to go, and then you lose your check. It's now becoming normal. People adapt. That means it won't look like magic, but already I'm sure that we are smarter than any Greek philosopher out there.
Mhm.
If we go
Yeah, it's all
there,
about disruption, right? You know, the rate of disruption is so much greater now today. There's so many startup founders that are incredibly innovative. There's so many smart, intelligent, incredibly intelligent people, both in creative fields and technical fields and medical field that are completely disrupting the environment. And that's the thing is Einstein was disruptive for his time, but the question is, what was his time? At his time, you know, women weren't even able to work, you know? You know, there was
yeah.
you have half the population working. Most of the population working on farms or in factories. They didn't even have the opportunity to be allowed to think. So,
Poverty was, I think, 80%.
yeah.
So people were poor. You didn't have these abilities that we have now. So that's and you know the movie Idiocracy.
No, I haven't watched it. No, I should.
It's a classic. It's one of the most genius movies. So the guy is frozen and he wakes up in a new world
Hmm.
and the world went completely dumb and he becomes president and so on. But I think that actually it's going in opposite direction. That it would be opposite. That if you would wake up after 100 years, that you would be the dumbest person out there
Yeah.
because people are just having friction of information that is so much exponential higher and their bandwidth is so much wider that what is actually happening there is their new normal is so higher than your normal that just catching that, okay, we have ability to adapt, but I think that if you just go to that world, that imagine someone from 15th century jumping into New York now into
Hmm.
just Fifth Avenue looking at, I think that they would have stroke like
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
minute.
Uh,
So yeah,
unimaginable.
those are my thoughts
Yeah, I
about
love
this future.
that.
I'm really optimistic. I think that what is happening is beautiful, and I would invite people to just to use it. I'm spending, I don't know, 2 hours a day with ChatGPT. We
Yeah.
have a development team. We have our machine learning models. It's something that we do. We develop deep technology, but we developed it in a way that with every new breakthrough in the industry, our
Mhm.
models are becoming better. So it's not that we are now making a better chatbot. No, next one will just come. It will have intelligence of 1000 EQ and it would eat us. We are making something that is now nice. It's okay. It's good. But with 2 more generations of industry growth, we will have solution that is amazing. And
Yeah.
that is how we are building Ani.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's super scalable and you can just grow with the world, you know. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, plug into world's growth and not going against it because you cannot stop technical innovation.
Um, That's true. Well, I'm so glad to hear that, like positive, review of connecting with AI and working with AI. I think that's really cool. And I don't think everyone, especially in Europe, I think people are a little bit more scared. And it's exciting to talk to you all the way, like, I would say in my youth's tech hub. So, everything started in the Silicon Valley in California. So I love that aspect. I'm really looking forward to using AI like a companion. And I'm looking forward to the day where I don't have to prompt AI to do something for me,
Mhm.
but it assists me in a way that it just does it on its own. And
Mhm.
it can tell me, it can give me a notification about my health, or even better, like take another step, just do it for me, and something shows up at my doorstep, and I can be like, I trust this enough to understand that some sort of camera reviewed my health and actually gave me a good, recommendation for something I can do for myself. So I'm hoping for that day that intelligence is going to be there to help me and I don't have to ask it to help me. Coming
Uh,
soon.
well, what you actually now said, if
Yeah.
you would listen to it, it's you want to be prompted by AI.
Even yeah, even for that, I want, how I
Yeah,
would say,
yeah,
my mom
because
always reminds me to go to the dentist, even as, I've lived away from home for more than 10 years, and I still have my mom like, did you go to the dentist?
but uh, but you would be prompt by AI
Yeah,
because AI will
exactly.
take this molecule
Yeah,
and that has then effect on your biology
yeah,
and that is affecting your responses. So you're prompt by AI.
yeah,
What can
exactly.
happen?
That's
It
my
can be
hope.
bi-directional. Yeah, it's I think it's great. I think
I think
it's
that's
all
like
coming.
less than 6 months away, so I'm excited.
Yeah, it's coming. And what you said about Europe, Europe needs to wake up.
Yeah.
It's not about fear. It's about innovation. It's about abundance. Because what is happening here in the US, it's just different world. It's if we are talking about people from 15th century compared to today's world, I would say without any exaggeration, that's the difference between Europe and the US, especially California. This it's unbelievable that in the same world, same time, we have such a huge difference. And I'm talking also about Scandinavia, Netherlands, Switzerland, whole Europe. I'm not talking about certain parts of Europe. Whole Europe is so much behind. It's about mentality, and I would just encourage everyone to come here to see this level of fight, of freedom, of possibilities that is it's so alive. It's
Mhm.
bringing such a aliveness and possibility feeling of wow, I can do everything. It's amazing.
Well, that's just part of being alive, like the purpose of life, and why would you want to even extend? Longevity is to, if you can really enjoy the life and the innovation and the freedom in that moment, I think that's just worth living for. So
Yeah,
hence the longevity field, bursts alive. Yeah, incredible.
I
Cool.
agree.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. And yeah, I hope to get to meet you in person and talk to you soon in California sometime.
Yeah, please come here. I'm not planning to come to Europe anytime
Sounds
soon.
good.
That's been
Yeah,
nice, and
I will.
thanks for inviting me, and thank you for your time, and see you soon.